Hey, this is ATW. In today's episode of No Excuses, a Good Excuse podcast, we're going to talk about how and why you feel success is out of reach and how you can close the gap. If you feel that your goals and dreams are out of reach, that's okay. You've done the right thing by following this channel. We're going to help you get there. But you got to realize the goals and dreams that you have got to make sense. So for example, you're flying in coach right now, your goal's a private jet of your own. That's an okay goal and dream to have, but we might need to get there in some baby steps, okay? We might want to go from coach to first class. We might go from first class to some private ride shares. We might go from that and eventually work our way up. Luckily, I've been mentored from a guy who has his own private jet. So be careful what you want and wish for. It's really expensive to get it and keep it. But again, the reality of it is those goals and dreams that you think are out of reach, they are attainable. You know why? Because there's someone else that you've seen, know about who's been able to reach it. But like I talked about earlier, you don't go from coach to owning your private jet in a year or overnight. You gotta come up with a plan. And the main reason people get mentored and continue to self-level up is because they focus on how I can get there gradually. They get there in an indexed approach. An indexed approach means I'm going up, I'm going across, I'm going up, I'm going across. I'm not going up and down with pivotal and aggressive. Again, if you're a business owner and you're focused on why you feel like your goals and dreams could be out of pocket, we've got to realize, let's go ahead and be able to write those goals and dreams down, because dreaming is great. I was able to get mentored from a guy who talked about a term, ideal scene. And that ideal scene, it was so granular. I want a white house with a picket fence, a 2-car garage with black shutters. Write down what you want. And then what we're going to do, we're going to start focusing, when you get mentored by me, of course, on how we can start making gradual progress. Because again, we've said this so many times on our episodes, progress beats perfection. Let's start focusing on progress. Let's start focusing. If you've got 2 chains right now, you're focused on your 3rd and 4th. Before we get there, let's focus on making sure the first 2 that we have are profitable. And what we're doing is making the right amount of sense to move to the next level. When you say that your goals and dreams are out of reach, the reality of it is we've got to put things down in writing. I've said it before, what's measured is achieved. And the biggest thing I see people when it comes to them not reaching their goals, they're not measuring them. When it comes to people not reaching their dreams, all they're doing is laying down dreaming. You got to get up and live life. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the action. You got to put in the effort needed to get you the progress that you're hoping for. So again, let's focus on those dreams, but let's focus on a plan that's going to get us to those dreams. I talk to people often. I say, ATW, I was in Miami, I was in Fort Lauderdale, and I seen this guy roll up in a Lambo, and man, I want one of those Lambos. And I say, that's a great goal. What are you going to do to get that Lambo? Let's figure out how you can get the Lambo. And let's figure out the difference in getting the Lambo and affording the Lambo, okay? The reality of it is there's going to be things you need to do to get that Lambo, i.e. put down a down payment, 20%. But you also got to factor in, sometimes you got to pay to play. So when it comes to having exotic cars like I've had in the past, the cost of upkeep is way more than you would anticipate, the cost of insurance. So I'm not trying to deter you from your goal. I just want to make sure you understand your goal in totality and what it's going to take for you not only to get that Lambo, but to keep that Lambo, afford that Lambo, and maintain that Lambo. Are you 50% there? Are you 75% there? What is it going to take for you when you sit down and do your monthly budget for you to be able to afford a $3,000 a month lease on that Lambo and a spike in your car insurance of 50%? How much more income are you going to need to make to afford that Lambo? And or how many other things that you already have now that you're going to sacrifice for that Lambo? Do you want that Lambo so bad you're going to stop eating out at all the restaurants you like? Or are you going to pull up to the Lambo and Mickey D's? I don't think that's the plan, right? So the reality of it is, if you want the Lambo and that's your goal, you need to have a mentor. You need to figure out a plan. You need to figure out a plan that I'm going to work towards getting this. And once I get it, I want to be able to keep it, maintain it, and possibly down the road, be like some people I know, a guy named AJ that has 2 Lambos. Okay. But you got to create a plan, and you got to create a plan to better your life in order to get some of these things that you want materialistic. A lot of the things that people want are material, and that comes with 2 things. It comes with them wanting more, but they've got to be able to afford more. And typically when it comes to a business owner and or a person, I mean, we're not going to win the lotto. It's very rare to win that. You got to be able to earn more income, and you got to be able to invest that income. And you got to really understand that your life is going to be focused on how can I maximize what I'm doing now? And like I said before in previous episodes, sometimes it does require you to do what? Have multiple streams of income, because the job that you have, you got to realize the ceiling might only be $125,000 per year. So unless you live in your mom's basement or your granny's basement, it's going to be pretty hard to afford that Lambo on $125,000 per year salary. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Doesn't mean you can't get there. But when you get a mentor and you get somebody in your life that's going to give you love, be it tough love, is going to help you really understand what you need to do to outline a plan that's going to make sense for where do I really want to go. And do you really want a Lambo, or you just want to be able to afford a Lambo? Do you really want a Lambo, or do you just want to double or triple your income and then have the options that you want to be able to afford some things that you might feel that are unattainable right now? Let's flip the script on the Lambo. I'm not saying anything is wrong with a Lambo, but what do you want the Lambo for? Do you want it for an asset? Do you want it for a liability? Do you want to buy it in your name and have it sit in the garage and you only can afford to drive it once or twice a month? Or do you want to get yourself together and buy it in a business name and buy it that way where it makes sense for you and the depreciation isn't costing you? What does it make sense for you to do? And really got to ask yourself, what do you want out of this Lambo? Want a new girlfriend? A new boyfriend? Want some more likes on social media? Or here's a twist. Take that 20% down for that Lambo. Take that $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. Find a mentor. Pay them $25 or $50K. Take the rest and put some money into some campaigns on social media. Expand your reach, expand your business, and ultimately expand your income to a point that you can come back now. You don't have to go buy a used or a pre-owned Lambo. You can go buy a brand new Lambo. You can buy it the right way. You can buy it through your business. You see what I'm saying? Again, what do you want versus what do you really need? Do you need another liability? Do you need a depreciating Lambo sitting in your garage that you barely get to drive because you can't afford the maintenance? Or do you really want to focus on becoming a better you? Do you really want to focus on getting those toys now or putting yourself in a position to get a lot more toys later? That's why I tell people the power of mentorship is great. In a day and age when college is still there, but not always guaranteed to get you the type of job that you went to school for, I've seen several people take the power of mentorship to the next level. I've seen some people that I know that I used to mentor be mentored and be able to take the products that they were selling and not want to listen at first and drastically increase their pricing and invest the money. And now they've spent the money or made the money in a day that they invested in a program that they didn't think they could afford. You know why? Because someone helped them get out of their way. So again, your goals are there, but there's got to be a way to get to your goals. And I feel, and what I learned at this conference is one of the most pivotal things I ever heard about getting a mentor. It was three things. The three things was, A, is he or she successful, which is great. B, are they successful now? And what we mean by that is, don't get an armchair quarterback that was successful 25 or 30 years ago and talk about his old glory days. Get somebody who's still successful now and helping people today. And last but not least, the biggest thing you look for in a mentor is, can they help you collapse that time to get to those goals that you want? Can they take what's going to take you 3 years and get you there in 6 to 8 months? Because again, this isn't some theory. This is stuff that they're doing daily for themselves and for other people that they're mentoring. So again, don't get caught up in thinking that your goals or dreams are out of reach. Get caught up in how you're going to focus on obtaining those goals and dreams. Let me tell you why it's not as far as you think, because guess what? There's someone else right now who's been where you want to be. They were there 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and they wanted a Lambo, but they did more than want it. They went out and took action steps to get it. And what you can do is let that person shorten your time frame to get there. So what you want is out of reach. It isn't unattainable. You're just not traveling the path that you need to get there. And that's why getting the right mentor and or coach to help you get there is going to shorten the curve of you getting there and increase the probability of you getting there. So don't get caught up in what you can't do. Get caught up in investing in yourself with others in education and moving forward, mentorship, so you can get the right path to get what you want. Now, if this episode hit home for you, just don't listen. Let's take some action. Let's subscribe to the channel, Alan the Mentor. Follow me on IG or Facebook at Alan the Mentor. Let's get started and let's move forward. You got to realize that everything we talked about today is about what? Taking action. So let's take some action and let's get started. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode.